December 19th, 2025, 3 days ago, the US government was legally required to release all Jeffrey Epstein files. By law, no exceptions. They released 3,500 files, but 550 pages were completely blacked out, unreadable. Then 16 files mysteriously disappeared from the website, including photos of President Trump. This is the Jeffrey Epstein story, including what just happened and what they're still hiding. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born January 20th, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York, middle-class family. His father was a groundskeeper, nothing special, nothing wealthy. But Epstein was ambitious, smart, charming. He wanted money, power, access to the elite. In 1974, he became a teacher at the prestigious Dalton School in Manhattan, despite having no college degree. Former students remember him as charismatic, but inappropriate, especially around female students. He was fired in 1976 for poor performance. Then he joined Bear Stearns, an investment bank. He started networking, meeting wealthy clients, building connections. By the 1980s, he'd started his own financial firm. He positioned himself as a money manager for billionaires, though nobody could verify his clients or how he made his fortune. He bought a mansion in Manhattan worth $56 million, the Herbert N. Strauss House, massive, opulent. He bought a mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, worth $18.9 million on the ocean. In 1998, he bought Little St. James Island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, 70 acres, private isolated, later known as Epstein Island. He accumulated wealth estimated in the hundreds of millions. Nobody knew exactly how. His business operations were secretive, mysterious, questionable, but Epstein wasn't building wealth for normal reasons. He was building something else, a criminal enterprise. The crimes began in the early 2000s, maybe earlier. We may never know the full timeline. Epstein developed a system, a recruitment pyramid, a trafficking network. Here's how it worked. Step 1. Recruitment. Young girls, often from vulnerable backgrounds, were approached, usually by other girls already in Epstein's network. They were told they could make money, giving massages to a wealthy man. Step 2. The first massage. Girls as young as 14 were brought to Epstein's Palm Beach mansion, or Manhattan townhouse. What started as a massage quickly became sexual abuse. Step 3. Payment and recruitment bonus. Girls received $200 to $400 per session. But here's the key. They were paid more to recruit friends. Bring another girl, get a bonus. It was a pyramid scheme of abuse. Step 4. Geographic expansion. Epstein moved victims between his properties: Palm Beach, Manhattan, New Mexico Ranch, Little St. James Island, moving them across state lines, across international borders, making it harder for law enforcement to track. The operation involved accomplices, key among them Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell was Epstein's girlfriend, a British socialite, daughter of media mogul Robert Maxwell. She recruited victims, groomed them, sometimes participated in abuse. In 2021, Maxwell was convicted. Sex trafficking. She's now serving 20 years in federal prison. Another accomplice, Jean-Luc Brunel, a French modeling agent, founded MC2 Model Management with Epstein's financing. Brunel used his modeling agencies to recruit young girls for Epstein's trafficking network. He was found dead in his Paris prison cell in 2022 while awaiting trial on charges of rape and trafficking of minors. March 2005, Palm Beach, Florida. A 14-year-old girl's family reported abuse to Palm Beach police. This triggered the first major investigation. Police conducted a 13-month undercover investigation. They identified 36 confirmed minor victims. The FBI got involved. Federal prosecutors prepared a comprehensive indictment, 60 counts, sex trafficking. But then something extraordinary happened. In 2007, Alexander Acosta, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, negotiated a secret plea deal with Epstein's legal team instead of facing federal sex trafficking charges. That could have sent him to prison for life. Epstein pleaded guilty to just 2 state charges: solicitation of prostitution. His sentence? 13 months in a county jail with work release privileges, meaning he could leave during the day to go to his office. The plea deal violated federal law. Prosecutors didn't notify victims as required. It also included immunity for any potential co-conspirators, protecting people who helped run the trafficking network. The victims were never told about the plea deal until after it was finalized. Many felt betrayed by the justice system. The Justice Department later found Acosta exercised poor judgment, but no one faced consequences for the cover-up. For nearly a decade, Epstein lived freely. He continued his lifestyle, traveling on private jets, maintained elite connections. But in November 2018, something changed. The Miami Herald published an explosive investigative series called Perversion of Justice. Reporter Julie K. Brown revealed the full scope of Epstein's abuse, identified at least 80 victims. The series exposed how wealthy men manipulate the justice system. Public outrage exploded. People demanded answers. How did Epstein get such a lenient sentence? On July 6, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey after returning from Paris. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York charged him sex trafficking of minors, conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. This time, prosecutors alleged between 2002 and 2005, Epstein paid dozens of girls, some as young as 14, to perform sexual acts at his Manhattan townhouse and Palm Beach estate. On July 18, 2019, a judge denied bail. Epstein was a flight risk and a danger to the public. He was held at Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan to await trial, August 10, 2019. At approximately 6:30 a.m., Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell at Metropolitan Correctional Center. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The New York City medical examiner ruled his death suicide by hanging. But the circumstances raised immediate questions. Epstein had been placed on suicide watch after a previous incident in July, but it was removed just 6 days before his death. The guards assigned to monitor him. He had fallen asleep. Falsified records, security cameras outside his cell malfunctioned on the night he died. His cellmate had been transferred, leaving him alone, despite regulations requiring monitoring. The FBI investigated possible criminal conduct by guards. 2 officers were later charged with falsifying records, but charges were eventually dropped. To this day, conspiracy theories persist about whether Epstein truly killed himself or was murdered to protect powerful people connected to his crimes. What we know for certain, Epstein's death meant he would never face trial, and victims would never get their day in court. Here's something most people don't know. Epstein's trafficking operation required massive financial resources, and major banks helped facilitate it. Investigations revealed over $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions flowed through Epstein's accounts at 4 major banks: J.P. Morgan Chase, Deutsche Bank, Bank of America, BNY Mellon. These transactions included wire transfers to Russian banks, payments to women, cash withdrawals. That should have triggered money laundering alerts. Billionaire Leon Black, co-founder of Apollo Global Management, paid Epstein over $170 million for supposed financial advice, though the nature of these payments remains questionable. In 2023, J.P. Morgan Chase agreed to pay $290 million to settle a lawsuit brought by Epstein's victims. The bank admitted it should have been questioned Epstein's transactions and cut ties with him earlier. Deutsche Bank paid $150 million in penalties for compliance failures related to Epstein's accounts. These financial connections reveal Epstein's operation wasn't just enabled by his own wealth, but by institutional failures at the highest levels of the banking industry. Now here's what just happened. December 19th, 2025. 3 days ago, Congress passed a law, the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It required the Department of Justice to release all files related to Jeffrey Epstein by December 19th, no exceptions. The deadline arrived. and the DOJ started releasing files. But here's what actually happened. They released 3,500 files on a website called the Epstein Library, but 550 pages were completely redacted, fully blacked out, unreadable. One document, 119 pages, labeled Grand Jury NY, completely redacted, every single page. Another set, 3 consecutive documents, totaling 255 pages, all blacked out. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche sent a letter to Congress saying several 100,000 more files would be released over the next couple weeks. Wait, the deadline was December 19th, but they're releasing files over weeks? That's not how deadlines work. Senator Chuck Schumer, Democratic leader, accused the Trump administration of hiding the truth, said failure to release all documents amounts to breaking the law. Representative Ro Khanna co-sponsored the law, told NPR, the release seems at very best incomplete. He said, there's a draft indictment of the first Jeffrey Epstein case. That really implies other rich and powerful men who knew about the abuse or participated in it. That indictment should be released. It wasn't. The files that were released included photos, lots of photos of former President Bill Clinton in a pool with someone whose face is redacted, Clinton in a hot tub with a person whose face is blacked out, actor Kevin Spacey in a room with Clinton and others, Ghislaine Maxwell posing with magician David Copperfield, photos marked CSAM, which stands for Child Sex Abuse Material, heavily redacted, a book titled Massage for Dummies, seized by investigators, an oversized novelty check for $22,500 made out to Epstein with what appears to be Trump's signature, Epstein holding a cake, shaped like breasts, inside an office, photos of paintings, in Epstein's Manhattan home, including one of Bill Clinton wearing a dress. But then, something strange happened. At least 16 files that were available Friday disappeared from the website. By Saturday morning, one of those files contained a photo of Trump in a desk drawer with Ghislaine Maxwell and others. When people noticed, the DOJ released a statement Sunday morning. They said, the Southern District of New York flagged an image of President Trump for potential further action to protect victims out of abundance of caution. The department temporarily removed the image for further review. After review, they were determined no victims were depicted. The photo was restored without alteration, but 15 other files remain missing as of today. The files reveal connections to numerous powerful figures. Bill Clinton appears frequently. Photos show him on Epstein's plane, at properties, in casual settings. Clinton has repeatedly stated he was unaware of Epstein's crimes, cut ties before 2006, never visited the island. Interestingly, Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, backed up Clinton's claim in a Vanity Fair interview this week. Trump appears rarely. In the new documents, a few pictures, the framed $20,500 check, that's mostly it. But in emails, released separately by House Democrats, Trump's name appears over 1,000 times. Epstein was apparently obsessed with Trump's presidency, positioned himself as a Trump whisperer to powerful associates. Other names in the files, Sergey Brin, Google co-founder, appears in photos, Steve Bannon, Republican strategist, in photos, Larry Summers, former Treasury Secretary, mentioned in emails. He recently resigned from the OpenAI board and left Harvard. After these revelations, Elon Musk appears in daily schedules from 2014, suggesting flying to an island. Alan Dershowitz, Harvard law professor, accused by victims of sexual abuse, he denies allegations. Prince Andrew, previously accused by Virginia Giuffre, settled lawsuit for an undisclosed amount. Being named doesn't mean they participated in crimes, but the connections raise questions. Here's one of the most shocking revelations. In the new files, in September 1996, nearly a decade before the 2005 investigation, the FBI received a tip Maria Farmer, an Epstein survivor, complained to the FBI that Epstein was involved in child sex abuse. Let that sink in. The FBI knew in 1996 and did nothing. Epstein continued his operation for another 9 years before being investigated. How many victims could have been saved if the FBI had acted in 1996? This revelation raises serious questions about institutional failure at the highest levels. The files also reveal FBI interviews with accusers, are heavily redacted, unreadable, Internal Justice Department memos on charging decisions, also redacted, the very information that would explain how Epstein avoided prosecution for so long is hidden. Campaigners wanted to understand how a sex offender with so much evidence against him avoided serious federal charges. For years, those answers are in the redacted pages. So, where does this leave us? Jeffrey Epstein is dead. He'll never face trial, never answer questions, never provide information about others involved. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years, but she hasn't revealed the full scope of the operation. The files released December 19th, 2025, provide some answers, but raise more questions. Why are 550 pages completely redacted? What's in the grand jury testimony that we can't see? Why did 16 files disappear from the website? What was in those files besides the Trump photo? Why did the FBI ignore the 1996 tip from Maria Farmer? How many victims could have been saved? Who are the other rich and powerful men mentioned in the draft indictment that was never released? The Epstein case exposes massive failures in multiple institutions. The justice system failed when prosecutors gave Epstein a lenient plea deal in 2008, violating victims' rights, letting a serial trafficker avoid accountability. The banking system failed when major financial institutions processed over $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions without adequate oversight. The FBI failed when they ignored Jeffrey, a 1996 tip about child sex abuse, and let Epstein operate for 9 more years. The social system failed when powerful connections provided a shield against scrutiny. But the case also sparked reforms. Banks face stricter requirements for monitoring high-risk customers. Federal prosecutors have new guidelines for handling sex trafficking cases and notifying victims of plea agreements. Ghislaine Maxwell's conviction shows accomplices can be held accountable even after the primary perpetrator dies. Investigations continue into other potential co-conspirators. Civil lawsuits against Epstein's estate and associated entities are ongoing. Most importantly, the case fundamentally changed how we understand sex trafficking. It's not just strangers kidnapping people off streets. It can be wealthy, connected individuals operating sophisticated networks over decades. The victims, at least 36 confirmed by the FBI, possibly 80 or more. They deserved justice. They deserved their day in court. They deserved it. To see Epstein answer for his crimes, his death, robbed them of that closure. The redacted files continue to rob them of full truth and accountability. Jeffrey Epstein's crimes destroyed hundreds of lives. The least we can do is demand complete transparency, full accountability, and ensure it will never happen again. The files were supposed to be released December 19th. They weren't. Not completely. The fight for truth continues. See you tomorrow.